In today's world, taking care of yourself is more important now than ever before, especially in the workplace. I'm going to talk about 5 rules of self-care at work. But before I get started, if you don't know who I am, let me introduce myself. My name is Belinda Harris. I am an HR disruptor. I've been in the human resource field for almost 20 years. And on this channel, I talk about all things HR. HR for small business owners who don't have an HR department. HR for supervisors and managers who need tips and help on how to deal with a problem employee. I talk about employees who need help in dealing with their manager or supervisor. And I talk about resumes and interviews and things of that nature. So all things HR. I also talk about AI. I love talking about AI. So on this channel, I talk about AI. And I'll also talk about self-care at work. So if that's one of the things that you're interested in, then you are in the right place. So 5 rules for self-care at work. The very first rule is set clear boundaries. Now, when you set your boundaries, make sure you communicate that with your team. Communicate when you are available and respect their boundaries as well. So it's a two-way game. If you email somebody or you call somebody, you can't expect them, if they're off, to answer the call or respond to your emails because they are setting their boundaries. So communicate your boundaries with your team. Let them know when you're available and respect their boundaries as well. Now, for rule number 2, take regular breaks. I say that all the time. When you're at work, you want to make sure that you are taking regular breaks. You can go for a walk outside. I always say, get your nature break. Get some sun in your eyes. Get some fresh air on your skin. Get up, walk around, move around. You know, there's different techniques that you can do. You can work for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. Work for 90 minutes, take a 10, 20-minute break. I mean, it just varies. But you want to make sure that you are taking breaks. That is so very important. Don't just sit at your desk with your head down and don't take any breaks. That's not healthy for you. That's not productive for you. You may think, oh, I'm being productive. Not really. You're burning yourself out. Yeah, you're sitting at your desk. Yeah, maybe your hands are moving and typing on the computer. But if you had a little break and you came back refreshed, maybe you can see things in a different light that you wouldn't have saw if you just powered all the way through. So taking breaks is rule number 2. Again, when you take breaks, you can stretch, meditate, journal, walk outside, get some fresh air, listen to music. The moments of rest rejuvenates your mind and body. You only got one mind and one body. You want to make sure that you are taking moments to rejuvenate both of them. Rule number 3, prioritize your task. You know why? Because everything feels important. Everything feels urgent, but everything can't be important and urgent. So you want to make sure that you are prioritizing your task. When you come in the morning, create a to-do list this is the things that I'm going to do today. These are a priority. These are things that are important that I must do. You can't take on everything. You need to be, when somebody gives you something new, is it more important? Does it have to be done now? Is it a deadline later on? You want to prioritize that. If it's something that you need to stop what you're doing and do now, then of course you stop what you're doing and do now. But if it's not something that you have to stop what you're doing or working on and do right then and there, then prioritize that. Put it on the list. Put it on your master to-do list too. These are things that I need to add maybe tomorrow or the next day or next week that I need to work on. So you want to prioritize your task. You can't do everything all at one time. You can't hold it in your head. I tell people, make a list. You can use pen and paper. You can use your phone, you can use a computer to keep a list of things that you are focused on today. I use a pen and paper. I write down every night before things that I want to accomplish that day, things that I need to do. Now, if somebody comes or an emergency comes, because I always say that in HR, one phone call, one email, one text can change my whole day. And that's the truth. If those come in and it's something I have to change my day, then I look at my to-do list, my priority list that I plan to do that day and see what I can move, see what I still have to do this, even though this new event, I organized, I prioritized, because you can't do all the things on your to-do list. Work never ends. It never ends. So you must prioritize your tasks and do bite size at a time, because eventually it will get better. A good example of this, I asked you the question, how do you eat an elephant, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's what work is. That's what your tasks are. An elephant. You can't eat the elephant in one sitting. You can't eat the elephant in one chewing or one bite. One bite at a time. Prioritize your tasks. That is rule number 3. Now, before I go to the next rule, let me just say thank you for watching this video. I hope that you found some value in the video. My ask to you today is that I have a small channel, and I am trying to grow the channel to 10,000 subscribers. So if this is something, if this video brought you value or you found some enjoyment with it, I would appreciate if you like the video, maybe comment on the video, and maybe subscribe to the channel. I'd also appreciate if you maybe shared it to other people who you think would also find value. So again, I want to say thank you for watching the video so far, and on to rule number 4. Stress management is essential for your self-care at work. Why? Because work is stressful. There is no job that doesn't have some form of stress. Don't let anybody fool you and tell you that, no, my job doesn't have any stress. That's not true. Every job, every position in a job, there's some form of stress. Every last one of them. There's not a position that does not involve stress. Not a single one. Your job is to manage your stress, to manage it for yourself. There are things that you can do. Deep breathing, some deep breathing exercises. That one of them is the inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. That's one of the deep breathing exercises you can do. There's a lot of them, and that's just an example of one. You can do meditation. There are apps upon apps upon apps of meditation apps. So of how to meditate, free apps, or you can meditate on your own and use no app. So deep breathing, meditation, stretches at your desk. These are things that you can do to help your stress management. Taking your breaks. So I'm going to go back to that. Taking your breaks is part of stress management. Even if you don't feel stressed. A lot of times people are like, well, I don't want to do those things until I feel stressed. And I understand that, but you want to get ahead of the stress. It's kind of like putting on armor. It's going to rain because every workplace is rain. Let me have a jacket. Now, maybe I don't have to put the jacket on, but it's here. So let me have the jacket. And doing deep breathing exercises, meditating, doing stretches, even when you're not stressed, is having that jacket or having that umbrella for when it rains. It doesn't have to be, and the umbrella doesn't have to be sitting on your desk. But you know, my umbrella is under my desk. My jacket is hanging on the hook. It's hot today. I don't need my jacket, but if it was to turn cold or if the weather switches and it rains, I'm prepared. And I'm prepared, and that won't be an issue for me. So you want to practice deep breathing exercises, meditation, even when you're not stressed. But when you are stressed, you want to make sure that you are doing those type of things to help you get through these stressful situations. Now, the last rule that I'm going to talk about as it relates to self-care at work, And that rule is seek support when needed. I'm going to say it again. Seek support when needed. Sometimes people have a hard time asking for help. Sometimes they do. But you want to get in the habit to ask for help when you need it. Whether it's talking to a manager or HR or a mental health professional. Don't sit and suffer. Don't sit and be overwhelmed. I call it don't sit in the mud. If you have an issue at work and you haven't asked for help and you're just sitting in the mud, just sitting in misery, maybe if you ask your manager who might have had that position before they became a manager and can say, hey, let me show you some shortcuts because you don't have to sit in this mud. I can show you some shortcuts. The manager can also say, hey, let me help you. Let me help you get to the other side of this. Let me help you with this project. The manager can say, let me take that off your desk because I can see you have a lot of things. Let me give that to somebody else. You won't know if you don't ask. If you're having issues with maybe a coworker or your supervisor and you don't feel comfortable, then you can go to HR and just say, what is the chain of command? If I'm having issues with my supervisor or if I'm having issues with somebody at work, I don't want to sit here and feel like I'm being mistreated or feel like I'm being disrespected. What is the chain of command? What can I do? And let HR guide you on what to do. Or you may say, I'm stressed all the time. I feel overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. Then you can talk to a mental health professional to help you to navigate through the challenges. Seek support when needed. That is a huge, huge, huge self-care at work thing that we all need to do. That very few of us even practice because we feel like I'm not going to ask anybody. I don't want to ask anybody. I'll just tough it through and just pull myself through. We all need help, and there's no shame in that. There's no shame in seeking support when needed. So those are my top 5 rules of self-care at work. Set clear boundaries. Take regular breaks. Prioritize your task. Manage stress effectively and seek support when needed. You deserve to have a healthy work-home balance, but it's up to you to make sure that you do that. It's up to you to make sure that you are taking care of yourself when you are at work, not just when you're home. Don't just do self-care tips at home when you're at work. There's only one you. So when you're at work, practice self-care at work every single day. Not just the days that you feel stressed or you feel a little bit off. Every single day. I'm Belinda. I'll see you at the next video.